What is up, good people? Jungle Inc. here, hope you're doing well. Financial analyst Gary Shilling giving a dire prediction, stating that everything rally in stocks, crypto, and other assets is going to end in disaster, citing treasury volatility, commercial real estate, and retail investor hypes all as red flags. The veteran forecaster has warned the S&P 500 could crash by nearly 40% and a recession is nigh. Now, I gotta tell you this. There's always a doomer out there that sees some massive crash on the horizon. I always joke that Michael Burry has called 20 of the last 2 market crashes. He's always, the sky is falling type of guy. I think the only thing we can do at this point, sit back and let's see how the first quarter progresses. It's always scary when the Fed is pivoting because they're doing so for a reason. Yes, it's great they're bringing down interest rates, and that sounds like it's going to be the return to clown world that we're all waiting for, but you got to be careful because they're doing it for a reason. And all of that tightening has caused a lot of turmoil out there, and something big could break, and you know how this plays out. I hold premium assets. He's calling for as big as a 40% drop in the S&P 500. Hey, those are long-term investments. Bring it on. I will buy more on the cheap. When I'm buying S&P 500, I ain't looking about really even for myself. That's for the family when I'm, exited this planet, and it's hopefully grown for many, many years. Now, make no mistake, that would affect crypto for sure. But if we have a huge disruption like this, I think it would be short-lived, kind of like we saw with the pandemic. One last big drop down before the fun and games starts. Nothing derails this train, that's for sure. We are going to have our bull run. The only question is, does it continue now or does it get pushed out a little bit? I'm not going to try to trade this type of thing. I'm going to sit in my premium crypto assets and wait and continue to buy value because we know where we're headed. Not today, but on the short horizon, and that's all that matters. Now today, Jim Cramer, he says, hey, you can't kill Bitcoin. It is here to stay, and I hate when he talks positive about anything I ever own. This guy is just bad luck for whatever reason, and part of it is, he thinks kind of like the retail investor. He doesn't like Bitcoin when it's low. He likes it very much when it's run up a long ways. This is why people get clobbered. A lot of times, if you do the inverse Cramer, you do pretty good. So what does that tell us here? I don't know. But, we have this Bitcoin ETF decision. And Joe Calasari tells us the following, because many people are expecting, an announcement this week. He says, just a reminder, folks, the comment period doesn't end for some of the ETFs until midnight on January 5th. We're hearing that they're going to, just do a mass approval. So they're not just crowning BlackRock king of crypto. They're going to let everyone through the door at the same time. That qualifies, at least. And although the ETF applications may know earlier, it's very unlikely the public knows anything until next week. So we may be in this little holding pattern here. You've heard my opinion for weeks and months on this one. I think it happens this time around because of the people we're dealing with here, your BlackRocks, your Fidelities. But either way, I think it happens this year, like pretty much write it in stone, write it in blood. It's happening. And from what we know publicly, and sometimes that can be limited, it sure seems like this is in the high 90%. Like it's pretty much a sealed deal. It's happening now. We'll find out shortly. Again, this is more of a long-term deal to me. The short-term pop is not so important. Just remember this. Doesn't end with Bitcoin. BlackRock, Fidelity, they're not going to concede the greater crypto market. It's going to expand out. It's going to take some time. We know that. But it's going to happen. In this asset class, it's going to trade in traditional brokerage accounts and pension funds and endowment funds and all of these types of things. The world today is going to change vastly and quickly. Don't worry. It doesn't stop us crypto enthusiasts from using blockchain for its intended purpose. It just opens the space up to a whole host of new investors, ones with very deep pockets, and I think that's going to be positive for asset values. Now, that doesn't mean you're, very wealthy and sophisticated investor. Day one is just going to pump your bags to the moon, but I think it gives us a trajectory of, much higher growth than we would have otherwise. Understand what this really is. They are bending the knee. They are conceding. This is the future. We won. They lost. Now, I think as we go through 2024, There's a lot to be excited about. We should see crypto ETFs make it across that finish line, probably sooner than later. We're going to see production-ready AI start to roll out. Now, I think it'll take till 2025, 2026, where it's so good it's actually replacing employees and displacing people from their jobs. But we're talking about applications and tools that you can use in a practical sense to make your life better. And of course, right now, things like GPT and different art programs, they do help and you can use them. But we're talking about highly tuned production-ready software systems, and that should spur growth through this year. Again, exciting stuff as it starts to roll out, and people are using AI in a productive way. The earth-shattering stuff, probably a little bit down the road, not that far, but this year should be great for AI applications rolling out, being used, and kind of changing a lot of industries. Further, I look for Google to rebound. They had an awful 2023 in terms of what they're doing with AI, which is surprising because they've owned, the AI space for so long, and they've obviously been holding back because it does affect their business. They're the ones that, probably had the most capability, but they weren't incentivized to put the pedal to the metal because it harms their search business. Simple as that. But they're going to have to now, and I think they will. We're going to have another big behemoth competing in AI, doing good work. And I think AI is going to push Microsoft and others out there to really push this forward. Because looking back, think about the Bard commercial where Bard got answers wrong and they didn't even bother to check. And, they just had folly after folly in 2023. I think they're going to change that around in 2024. Crypto related, I think we will see the start of crypto regulations. It's not going to, all be taken care of in one swoop. It's a bad environment. It's an election year. They're focused on a lot of stuff, but I think they have to act now, and we will start to make progress. And as we get crypto regulations, again, now it's safer for entrepreneurs to jump in this space and build applications, usable applications. And that's going to be a big deal because so far adoption has really been investing and, hobbyists and enthusiasts using these crypto systems. When you start getting applications out to the masses where they are leveraging blockchain, that's going to be a game changer. And I think with regulations globally, we're going to get exactly that. Well, again, I've talked about this. Watch for the Fed pivot and the overall, global economy. Specifically, keep an eye on commercial real estate and the banking sector. Everyone's telling me, they're fine. They're past all their troubles. I don't know. Keep an eye on that. Now, as we get deeper into the bull run, I'm thinking things like gaming and just general D-apps and AI-focused, coins are going to do very well. But I think the early stars are going to continue to be layer 1 smart contract blockchains. And you've seen that to open this growth phase up. What's been the focus? Which coins have been having those 25% gains, day over day? Well, it's your Solanas, your Polkadots, your Cardanos, things like this. And really Ethereum layer 2, which is another hot spot for me. That's simple. Those are your building blocks. Everything is going to build off of that. If you're doing a D app, if you're jumping into DeFi or AI or, gaming, whatever you're doing, it's going to run on top of those layer 1 smart contract blockchains or your Ethereum layer 2s. That's where you're going to execute all that stuff. So people said that would not be a big deal this time around. Doesn't make sense. Of course it's going to be a big deal. XRP. Frustrating coin. Tough to deal with. Just understand it's going to perform. How high it goes, that's anyone's guess. Legal clarity, significant upgrades, possible Ripple IPO. All could be huge drivers here. And never forget, this is going to be the first bull run with U.S. liquidity. You've had multiple bull runs for Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash. You've never had a bull run where you could just cruise up to Coinbase or Kraken or some other U.S. exchange, link up your bank account, and just buy you some XRP. That's never happened. It will happen this time around, and I think it's going to be a game changer. Lastly, I'll tell you this. When things get really silly, just remember you can't buy dips if you don't have chips. Nothing goes straight up. There's nothing wrong with pulling some profits, parking that capital on the sideline, and waiting for the next opportunity because they come up all the time during bull runs. You just have to have capital ready to go when opportunity arises. I mean, just think back to every bull run you've been in. You're like, wow, this is exciting. This is cool. This is novel. I like to throw some money at it. Make sure you have cash on the sidelines. And every time as the bull run progresses, Start getting into wackadoo stuff that's over there. It's kind of out there, you know what I mean? I saw some of those minus well gems where it went up 10, 15x, and people didn't pull any profits. Remember the Nick Black rule there. If it goes up 10x, at least take 20% off the board and double your money, and the universe can never take that away from you. You don't have to pull everything back, but take some profits, take some money back, especially if you're kind of loosey-goosey and getting into goofball stuff as this bull run continues, which is okay. We all do it. I don't talk about a lot of that stuff here. We talk about the main cryptos, but, opportunities arise. That's fine. Just understand what you're dealing with. This ain't a Bitcoin. This ain't an Ethereum. This ain't an XRP that's going to be around for decades. You might have one shot here. Don't be scared to hit that sell button on at least some of your money. Let me know what you think down below. And as always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Inc.